What's up, guys? It is Wednesday, January 26th. Can you believe it? 2022 AD. Anno Domini, or however you pronounce it. Ask Jared Taylor. He probably knows how to pronounce it. Am I right? It's 9:01 a.m. here in Los Angeles. Is that how you pronounce it? Gonna have a fun, loosey-goosey Wednesday show, I think. I have an announcement, I'm appearing on T-Jump, 4 p.m. Pacific this afternoon, 6 Central, 7 Eastern. But I want to talk about these evil schools and evil blacks and women pushing this 1619 project and CRT mess on the children, including John Legend. What's his real name? Probably not Legend. He's not legendary. He has a nice voice. That's it. He's really dumb. And they're lowering their standards to pander to the POCs, as you know. These vulture women, too. It's ridiculous. And let's be more like Europe. No thanks. Europe, I hear, is expanding abortions. They're expanding so-called hate speech laws, clamping down on free speech, clamping down on Christians, whites, men. I mean, the American anti-American establishment's doing that too, right? But did you know that there's gay cake mess even in Europe? It's not even, or UK or whatever. It's not just here in the United States. And the Pope seems suspect. Howard Stern tripping. All that and your calls, you can call in. But anyway, guys, let's get right on with the show!
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Hey, guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So, how are you guys doing? I am fine. Good afternoon for those of you for whom it is afternoon. It is 12:03, 12:04 now over in the East Coast or back east, anywhere in the Eastern time zone, which is, I don't know, on the other side of Chicago, right? Doesn't have to be totally back east. That's even, Midwest? I am fine. How are you? I will be I will be answering your super chats. Actually, your girlfriend with a super chat right off the bat in the Odyssey, ODYSEE, Loosey Goosey Wednesday stream? Question mark, scream emoji. Are you sure we're ready for that so soon? Yeah, I know. And then Big Bump states, John Rogers Stevens. Nice American name, a.k.a. Legend. Yeah, he's married to that Chrissy Legend woman, who I think, if I'm not mistaken, she's like Asian or Pacific Islander mixed with like white or something like that. Something. Chrissy Legend. Or Chrissy Rogers Stevens. I don't know. But that guy's a mess. Oh my gosh. Ridiculous. I will be getting to your calls and things and stories. But first, I want to make a quick announcement. I have, coming up today, a debate, if you will, interview, conversation coming up on T-Jump. Not on my show, on T-Jump's YouTube channel. T-Jump. Sounds like how it's spelled how it sounds. Tom Jump. He's a atheist guy on YouTube. He appears on many debates. I've interviewed him, or I've been in contact with him by way of being on panels with him. I was on the Hippy Dippy 50th round table, which you can find on YouTube. It was a Twitch stream on Dylan Burns. You know, remember that guest? Regarding Biden's first year, a year after January 6th and the Marjorie Greene Twitter ban. He's supposedly like a reasonable, logical, soft-spoken man. I say supposedly because the reasonable, logical aspect, I started to question it because he was saying Trump is was a disaster and Biden being better than Trump is not saying much. But Trump was like the best president in my lifetime, seemingly. Unless I'm mistaken, but I don't think I'm mistaken. I know that people have their gripes with him. But I also met him in Dallas, Texas. I was at the Modern Day Debate Con in Dallas, Texas, a couple of weekends back. Remember that? Participating in panel discussions, and T-Jump was on both of those. Alongside Destiny, Stephen Bunnell, Dylan Burns, Xander Hall, and Amy Newman. Amy Newman, I believe, is what they call transgender. We discussed so-called transgender issues in both discussions, and T-Jump believed in supporting the transgender thing because studies show they have a greater sense of well-being after the transgender supportive medical mess. You know, the hormones and the surgery and all that stuff. Supposedly they have marginally less, or who knows how much less, suicide rates and long-term sense of well-being. I don't buy that. So he's basing it on feelings. Scientific studies of feelings. How real is that? Whether the left is progressing or regressing, the validity of CRT. At least he's not for the CRT mess. So anyway, I'll debate him on evidence of God. So you can go to my website, thehakereport.com, if you're not sure how to find his YouTube channel. But it should be pretty easy. T-Jump. Just search it in YouTube. I don't see, let me see, youtube.com/T-Jump. And actually this weekend, yeah, it's not scheduled yet, so you can't find the link yet, okay, guys, at this point. But this Saturday, the 29th, 5 Pacific, I'm scheduled to be on a modern day debate again. Debating Hunter Avallone about is systematic racism real? Or systematic, whatever. Same thing. So, I will get to your calls, guys. Hang on. But I want to talk about these evil schools. And when I say evil, I mean evil. So hang on, callers. We will get to you. Breitbart reports a shock suit. California mom sues the school district. She claims that teachers gave her daughter tips. Oh, my gosh. On how to blank, blank, blank. What a mess. I don't even want to read the headline. It's so vulgar. But 2 LGBTQ activist teachers, according to this mother, reported by Susan Berry and Breitbart just yesterday, secretly manipulated her 11-year-old daughter into believing that she was a transgender boy and gave tips on how to bind her, crazy. Basically prevent her breasts from growing or something like that. What a mess, huh? Or hide them or something like that. I wonder if this is a single mother, because why is she developing so early? I don't know. Who knows? Jessica Conan took action against Spreckles Union High School District, SUSD, with a legal claim. And she's using the lawyer, Harmeet Dillon, Dillon. You ever heard of her? I've seen her on Twitter. I know that she's been around a while. I saw a photo of JLP with her. Just they must have met at an event, took a picture or something like that. So she's been around a while. Seems like an okay lady. Harmeet, Harmeet, Dillon, Dillon, founder and CEO of the Center for American Liberty. She's like one of those conservative, I don't know what she is. Is she Indian or something? But she seems like an okay lady. Parents are supposed to have access to all the educational records of their children, Dillon told Daily Mail. The concept that the schools have a right to be running secret don't tell your parents clubs and don't tell your parents programs and actively coaching children on how to mutilate themselves, which is not growing your breasts, is certainly not consistent with California law. AP covered it. Washington Compost covered it. What a mess, huh? Sick stuff. There's this big push in California trying to push for. I guess it may already be here, present. Push for kids to get abortions without their parents' knowledge or approval, right? Oh, because they are in abusive environments. Like the school is not abusive. Give me a break. So sick. Over in Virginia, you guys have heard that, you remember Loudoun County, the place where the parents are all upset about the CRT mess, the transgender mess. There was this PE teacher who said, I'm a Christian and I'm not gonna falsely support the false gender identity mess that some kids are going through. That's a disservice to the kids. And I think he was suspended or fired or something like that. There was a father who was arrested because he claimed his daughter had been raped, although she'd been, I don't know, it was a big mess. She'd been sleeping around or something like that. Just a mess. Loudoun County, Virginia. It's not far from Washington, D.C., which is a corrupt city, so it's probably a corrupt place. Charlottesville, Virginia is a very corrupt place. They're propping up the blacks and clamping down on the whites. Sick stuff going on in the world. In Virginia, as you may know, I supported that rhino. I call him a rhino, but I still like him, right? We like rhinos. We just don't want to support them too much. But Glenn Youngkin, who is the governor of Virginia, he toppled Ralph Northam. Ralph Northam, if I'm not mistaken, did the blackface thing. I don't remember. I don't remember what all happened, right? I can't keep my various South and Eastern governors straight in the states that they so-called serve, or help themselves to. But Glenn Youngkin, a Republican, he won in Virginia and became governor just this year, and he made this order making masks optional in schools. But the Loudoun County School District, according to Daily Wire, said, no, you have to wear the masks, otherwise we're not going to serve you, you have to go home, or something like that. Or we're going to segregate you. The kids are complaining they're being told not to listen to their parents who don't want to force their children to wear masks. I've had a father called into my show from like NorCal or somewhere saying he didn't want his young children to be wearing masks. Is that not a father's right, right? The children are not particularly at risk from either catching or spreading it, from what I hear. I could be mistaken. But it's all hype and force and mess and division and evil and phony judgment. Oh my gosh. I'm reacting because I'm thinking about something that I saw in TKR Official, Telegram, t.me/TKR Official. I'm on Telegram too, the Hake Report. Jesse Lee Peterson is on Telegram as well. JLP Talk, t.me/JLP Talk. But I saw this report from, what's that guy's name? Howard Stern. He's pushing for Meatloaf's family, according to a report from, I think, RT, Russia Today, and Infowars.com. Infowars.com, said the guy at the Hillary event. This so-called shock jock, not a Christian, not very independent thinking anymore, seemingly. Howard Stern pushing for Meatloaf's family in his death to dishonor him by pushing for vax mandates or something like that, or support the vaccine or something. Like this guy is so smart and loving and caring about people's lives. What a phony. A sellout, as they say. And John Legend. John, what is it again? Rogers Stevens. He tweeted this. black parents need to flood these tip lines. And he's referring to something going on in Virginia where I guess Governor Youngkin does not want the kids subjected to the CRT madness. And CRT is more than just CRT. To me, it's just pushing the fake idea of racism, period. Teach what happened. You can recount what actually happened, but there's like selective reporting about what happened. Report what happened, and don't push this fake idea of racism, slavery and genocide, Howard Zinn's phony idea of the people's history of the United States. America was founded on slavery and genocide. Howard Zinn's dead, but he was a communist, and his son is a liberal pushing this mess. And all the radicals have been brainwashed. That's why you think you have blind brainwashed people calling into my show. Slavery and genocide, that's all they ever talk about. The white man stole this stolen land. Howard Zinn, Howard Stern, not Christians. So Glenn Youngkin established a tip line, I guess, where parents can call in and report, hey, this is going on. I don't like my children being subjected to this nonsense, this mess, right? Because it's all about blaming the white man, blaming the white kids. Where is Zinn now? I don't know. So he quote tweets this woman named Rachel Cohen. Cohen, Cohen. A so-called reporter, not a Christian, by the way, I doubt. Youngkin touted a tip line for parents to report this to this state any school officials they find to be behaving objectionably, including teaching divisive subjects, quote unquote, and she puts that in quotes. Virginia, and the article is in the Washington Compost. Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin urges calm but also stokes division over his call to ban mask mandates in schools. But he's also pushing the tip line on CRT madness. And so John Legend's all, black parents need to flood these tip lines with complaints about our history being silenced. We are parents too. Black parents, including so-called fathers, are doing a total disservice. They hate their children. They're teaching their children to be afraid of the cops, hate the whites, be suspicious of the whites, believe in this fake racism thing. Generations have gone through this. And so they're blind leading the blind. And so they want our history being silenced. What an evil person. Blind, evil. By the way, he was a Trump derangement syndrome sufferer. I think he was in the same class as Don Jr., by the way. Donald Trump Jr. John Legend. What a phony, huh? JLP, Jesse Lee Peterson, he wrote an article about black parents, including so-called, especially educated black parents, brainwashing their children to hate the whites and to be victims and to be angry and to be overly suspicious of whites and not examine themselves. And he documented this dumb guy, Kamau Ball, who you may not be familiar with, but he's supposedly like this comedian or something like that. And he's also hosted this CNN show about, we go around the world and talk with different people. And he's talked with so-called white supremacists and stuff. Basically just a dumb propagandist with big hair. He's tall. I think he is married to a white woman. And he complained one time about being racially profiled by a worker at a tea shop or coffee shop because he's hanging around with his wife. And the worker comes out and says, "Ma'am, are you okay? Are you okay? Is this man bothering you?" And it's his wife, right? Because people are not used to the interracial marriage thing, even to this day. And so he's all mad and sour grapes about that. Because he looks like a big, wild, homeless guy. Can you pull up a picture? Kamau, I think, Kamau Ball, Ball. Something Kamau Ball. He looks like a crazy man. He looks like a young, fatter version of that guy who is a communist, Cornel West. The black, wild-haired, wannabe black version of Albert Einstein looking fake, compassionate, communist, anti-white guy. And a black intellectual, educated, right? So Kamal Ball was one of the guys exposed by JLP as pushing this blind racism mess on his children. And he wrote it in this article years ago. And I remember it. There's Kamal Ball. I guess that's his so-called white wife. And if you have to kind of squint to make out his hair because it's on a dark background, but his hair is like this wildish sort of afro thing. He looks like he's wearing stylish clothes, I guess, but he could be, it could be kind of homeless, Anyway. Or it could be just there he is, look at that. Don't be fooled by that smile. Smiling faces tell lies. They don't tell the truth. So he's one guy who's abusing his mixed children, right? Or kid or whatever. Another one was that evil woman who wrote The New Jim Crow, Mass Incarceration in the Age of Colorblindness. And that was, I'm blanking on her name, but she's this light-skinned, short-haired woman. And she's served so-called on the ACLU doing the driving while black thing, fake driving while black lawsuits. The ACLU are enemies of America. New Jim Crow. Michelle Alexander, who was interviewed by Jesse Lee Peterson. Mass incarceration in the age of colorblindness. Pretending that it's whites' fault that blacks are in jail or in prison. So evil, huh? And she brainwashed her children. She had them all upset about Mike Brown's killer, who killed Mike Brown in self-defense, Officer Darren Wilson, getting off. Because he should have gotten off. It was pure self-defense. Mike Brown is the gentle giant thug in Ferguson, Missouri. So she's brainwashing her children, and she's an educated black, well-to-do, in the government. Her husband was in the Obama administration. And then another person, I said woman, I almost said woman, but female-minded male, Ta-Nehisi Coates, another guy brainwashing his children. I think he wrote a whole book as like an open letter to his son or something like that. Between the World and Me or something like that. Pushing the fake idea of racism. When he grew up all around black crime, all these dumb liberals growing up around black crime, black on white crime, black on black crime, and then they blame the whites for it. I told you about that guy who's so-called white, who was a singer for, what was it, Black Flag singer? I don't know, one of those. No, it wasn't Black Flag. Henry Rollins, yeah. What was Henry Rollins from? What was he in? So-called punk rock. More like beta rock. Oh, yeah, he was in Black Flag. That guy is a dumb liberal, too. All these people who are anti-establishment or anti-mainstream media, they become the mainstream media. Hippies, Eminem. They don't think for themselves. Yeah, it is Black Flag. Okay. Lame. So, yeah, black so-called parents. Ooh, John Legend is married to his wife, and he's being a father. That's not good enough. He's not being right. He's an angry, evil, bitter person. So anyway, let me get to a call or two, guys. That's enough rambling and ranting and raving for right now. Let me get to Rich in Victorville, California. He has a disturbing story to tell. Keep it G-rated for me, Rich, because I'm looking at, I'm not judging, but I'm looking at the subject line that is the basis of your call. So
Got you.
What's up?
It goes along with the stuff you're talking about. I agree. Did you hear about the security guard in Texas, the black dude who got stomped out by some other black people?
He was killed?
Yeah, recently. I just saw on WorldStar there's there's footage of altercation. You should pull it up and talk about it. I think it's interesting, so we can laugh at Black Lives Matter and all those sorry ass black people who, you know,
Keep
they
it
act
clean,
like,
man. What the heck?
oh, my bad.
But yeah.
They act like if you don't agree with, you know, Eric Gardner or Mike Brown or George Floyd, to me, was the one that was the most. It was the one that was the most crucial to me, but it was still planned by the government to rile everybody up and to do the divide and conquer stuff they're doing, right? But the act like if you're not if you don't agree or believe the media's lies, then you must be jealous of, you know. You have to believe that black people are that special, that, you know, they're being hunted down by white people and stuff. When in reality, they're just trifling, sorry people. And this story that just happened is another story that's going to be swept under the rug. And even though it's worse than every situation that they've been hyping up since, you know, Trayvon Martin, the security guard basically told him to leave because they were following the rules or something. And as he was walking him out the door, they boom jumped him, stomped him out, stomped on his head, and left him for dead. There's footage of it too, so it's just interesting. And I heard you talking about these interracial couples. Remember, I told you the definition of mass, right? The definition of mass is a large body of matter, right? They call the people the masses. They call the people the masses. Why do they want people to wear their mask, right? Because they're pushing all this Black Lives Matter stuff on people for a reason, so little dumb kids can believe the lies that these dumb rappers push and believe the Black Lives Matter stuff and the racial divide agenda that they're doing, right? So they can be. That's why they use these dumb black people to push the vaccine. Oh, get the vaccine! I got it. Oh, you must get it now, right? Because they're really convinced, and a lot of dumb kids are. That's why you see these kids on the streets virtual signaling extra heavy, right? Like, did you hear about that dude Draco the Ruler?
I heard about Draco. I thought it was Drakeo. What was the story with Draco, the so-called ruler? Did he get killed?
Drake? Yeah, he got stabbed in the neck. Just black people doing what they do best.
Yeah, on stage, huh?
If there's a party around those people, I'm not going to go. If there's a concert, black people are there, yeah, I'm good. I'm staying home. Right? This dude, Draco the Ruler, has a song. Hake, I kid you not. This is how deep the programming are and how dumb these little kids are because of what they've pushed. I told you they teach grammar, right, which is that word grammar comes from the word grimoire, a book of spelling. Look it up. And they teach you spelling, right? At school, spelling in cursive, casting a spell. And they put hexes in music. It's called backmasking. And they have these little dumb kids on their spell. That's why they virtual signal. Oh, yeah, my point is, this dude, Draco the Ruler, literally has a song called Ready to Shoot a Baby. You can look it up. Literally, a song called Ready to Shoot a Baby. Ready to Shoot a Baby. And when he dies...
Don't keep repeating it.
My bad.
Yeah.
When he dies, what do these little waste of lives do? They virtual signal. Oh, let's go to his candle lighting. Rest in peace. So he was. This is how deep the program and how evil these people are, and white liberals too. White liberals are the same. You know, these white females that they all these little interracial couples. You see, it's all virtual signaling. Hey, they saw Kim K, how she got famous because what did she do on camera, right? And all these little virtual signals. All these little virtual signalers, oh, we agree with her. Well, yeah, oh, wow. We agree with you. We're not racist. Let's go make her famous. Now this waste of life is famous for what? A talent is because she did that on camera. Right? And so all these little kids, they follow, and they'll go follow and emulate that for attention, for clout, all that. That's all it is. And it's being pushed heavy. But yeah, I want. What's up?
You have a full-time job yourself? You working?
I told you it's part-time.
Oh, yeah, it's part-time. Is that because of the shutdowns or why?
Nah, I've been had my own thing going on before the shutdowns.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, but yeah, pull that story up, Hake.
Oh, yeah, I pulled it up. I'll tell the people a little about what went on. I remember talking about the Draco the Ruler thing. I forget why I talked about it or what I said, but that was last Thursday that I reported a little bit about him dying, I guess. And some background.
This population is under a spell, like literally, even Wicca, right? Because this world is ran by warlocks, and they use music.
How are you all into this stuff? How did you get into this stuff?
It's obvious. It couldn't be more
No.
obvious.
It may be obvious, but how did you get into it? How did you get sucked into like these analyzing words and coming up with meanings of these words stuff.
I have the DMT molecule on my hand tatted, the dimethyltryptamine molecule. Ever since doing DMT, that's when everything started getting revealed to me.
Oh man.
Yes, sir. Yeah, but that's all I wanted to say, Hake.
Okay.
It's funny. This is going to get swept under the rug. White liberals are going to justify it. But that's how it is. That's the standard set for these sorry people. Honestly, it's sad. All right, so that's all I wanted to say.
Well, I wish you well, Rich. It's good to hear from you.
Man.
Take care.
Peace.
All right, you as well. Just to follow up, just in case people are lost on what went on, I talked about Draco the Ruler. Oh, yeah, it was an interesting case. Okay, so last week on Thursday, I reported both in Hake News and on the Hake Report that suspect rappers keep on incriminating themselves in their rap song. And some say, oh, that's just their creative form of self-expression and entertainment, right? Just like any other genre, says Bronx native Fat Joe. But Draco the Ruler was convicted of murder back in like 2018 after prosecutors used his lyrics to prove he was guilty. But later he was acquitted in 2019. And these acquittals of these people, I don't. What am I to think? Is he a killer? Is he a criminal? Or is he innocent? Or is he an innocent criminal killer, but innocent too? He was a felon. Draco, D-R-A-K-E-O, the Ruler. His real name was Daryl Wayne Caldwell, but he was stabbed like last year or 2 years ago. Draco is slang for a Romanian AK-47 variant, according to Big Bump. He knows this stuff. It looks like Drakeo because it has an E. And I saw footage of him from like 2016 being interviewed, and he did not present himself as bright. You know what I mean? And I'm not being white-centric by saying that, because there are blacks who are somewhat bright, but this guy did not seem that way. And then a little report on this security guard who died in Mesquite, Texas, according to Fox 4 News. And this was reported yesterday. A security guard at the gym in Mesquite ended up dead when police said he was attacked while doing his job. Fitness Connection. And there was an assault on Saturday. 43-year-old Patrick Pregian is the purported victim, the security guard who was killed. Rest in peace, young man. What a shame, huh? And others, it was a confrontation, right? Unclear what exactly happened, but it is on worldstarhiphop.com, which I used to peruse sometimes. I'm not into like graphic situations like that. Although I have watched some of that stuff, ISIS beheadings. They were called around 4:30 p.m. Police were to the Fitness Connection, Lyndon B. Johnson Freeway. I've been on Lyndon B. Johnson Freeway when I went to Dallas just over the weekend. Taken to a hospital, later died. What a shame, huh? And so some of those stompings, sometimes people survive those stompings and they're like fine, but There was a group of men on video beating this guy who was laying motionless on the ground. Anyway, it's under investigation. But people are evil. I was reading about this just briefly. Let me tell you, I was reading, before I get back to calls and stuff, AJ, first-time caller, coming up next, wants advice on a boss stealing tips. But I read this headline from earlier, a few days ago. Murder in D.C. Unfathomable. This is a Fox News headline. Washington, D.C. murder victims are often killed over petty insults, experts say. Over petty insults. I laugh, but that's so stupid. and they say whites need to be civil. They use this liberal word, civil. Trump is not being civil. He's calling it the China virus. And that's causing blacks to go attack Asians, and it's causing whites to shun Asians. The stop AAPI hate, that madness. This is not civilized. Killing each other over insults. Encouraging blacks to go flip out over somebody saying over somebody non-black saying the N-word. You know what I mean? We live in a world where it's not wise in certain areas to say the N-word. But we need to fix the culture so that people don't overreact over words. Am I right? He disrespected me. Yeah, grape ape. Don't disrespect me. If you have respect. Anyway, what a mess. I had to mention that. Sick stuff. Let me quickly get to AJ, a first-time caller in New York. AJ, thanks for holding. What's up?
Hey, Hake, man. How's it going? I really appreciate what you do. Doing a great job with the show.
Thanks, man.
I just wanted to get your advice on the situation. So, I'm a delivery guy for a small business, and doing deliveries. The orders are through an app, so all the payment goes to the owner first, and it's the store car. So basically, and then entry level, and then the tips that the customers give, he's taking it, and I don't really need the money, and it's kind of like I could be making a lot more, and I feel like I hate to use the word, but I feel exploited, so
exploited. Yeah, I understand your embarrassment at using that word.
Yeah,
it's a victim. It's like a victim. It's like a liberal word, a victim word nowadays. But
definitely,
go on.
Man, definitely.
Yeah.
So I'm not really in need for money, and I don't have another job lined up. But I did find a couple. I've sent applications and stuff. So I just wanted to know, I feel bad about this. I'm making him money that he didn't earn, but he's already increasing the prices to take care of the car, whatever. So do you think I should just straight up ask him, hey man, I'd really like the tips, or some of the tips, if you need to have some, and then if he says no, I'll just leave, or should I just hold out until I can find a job? Because I don't feel good. But what do you think?
I mean, I wouldn't do anything rash, that's for sure. You can ask him about it. I mean, if you guys did not agree in advance about how the tips would be handled, then if he's the guy who's receiving the money or taking the money from you, I don't know if it's exactly stealing, because you guys hadn't really come up with any agreement regarding how to handle tips. So you might approach him and be like, hey, they're giving extra tips, and I don't know.
I guess we did agree before, and I was okay with it before.
Oh, you agreed that he would have them?
Yeah, because it's a company car. But now that I think about it, even though it's a company car, I'm doing the driving.
Yeah. So you agreed with him that he would get tips. He would receive all the tip money.
Yeah, before.
Oh, okay. So then you can ask him. You can ask him, hey, you can ask him. I don't know how you might ask him, but you know him.
Yeah.
If you want to, you can definitely ask him. But I wouldn't leave over it, because this is something that you guys agreed on. And then you're changing your mind after the fact when, like you said that you don't need the money. I mean, it's totally up to you. You know your situation better than me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But definitely
don't do anything, right?
It sounds like you are starting to resent him now that you see all that money going to him, and you're doing the work.
Yeah.
But he's the one who is providing you this opportunity. Without him, you wouldn't be having this opportunity to make the money that he is paying you. You'd be working somewhere else, maybe doing okay, but I wouldn't just up and leave. I would be fair to him and try to work out something fair. Let's make a deal type of thing.
Okay. But of course, if I find another job, it's okay to leave, right?
I mean, that's totally up to you, man. Yeah. I mean, you didn't promise him that you would, unless you promised him you would work for him straight 2 years. I don't think that you promised him that you would be working for him or not working for him long term. I don't know. Did you?
Well, 6 months. I agreed to stay on 6 months because he knew I wanted to leave before, so I told him I'd give him until June.
Oh, okay.
But, I don't know, man.
Then hang on the full 6 months. Don't change your mind on him, because he hasn't changed his mind on you. You just changed your mind on him that now you want the tips, even though you agreed that he would get the tips, and you agreed to work 6 more months. I would keep your. If I were you, I would try to keep my word, because it doesn't sound like he's really taking advantage of you. He's just doing what you guys agreed to.
Yeah, but as I mature, I think differently on how things should be done fairly,
Yeah, you can go back to him and ask, but he's under no obligation in my mind to change up what you guys agreed to. Maybe at the 6 month mark, you could be like, hey, I promised to work for you 6 more months under how we agreed. I can leave, or how about if you keep me on, but share the tips with me? Maybe you come up with an idea like that. I don't know.
Okay. And how should I deal with I'm not feeling miserable, but I'm at work and I'm just like not feeling happy. Just distract myself, read something, read a book or something.
I don't know, man.
Downtime,
Are you doing JLP's silent prayer?
No.
No?
I know
Oh,
about it.
have you heard of it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you a Christian?
Yes. I did a counseling session with him, and I got a lot of good advice.
Nice, man.
Think in the moment.
Well, you want to not look to like me or Jesse Lee or anybody else for the advice on how you should go forward, because we're not in your situation. You're in this situation. You want to rely on God. And the Bible does say, as a Christian, pray without ceasing. So you want to become wise in your own self. It's fine, I guess, to ask for feedback.
Yeah.
But you also want to realize for yourself.
Definitely. And
Yeah.
But at the end of it, don't do anything rash, right? Don't do anything rash.
Yeah, don't do any. I mean, that would be what I recommend.
Okay.
You definitely do what you want, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
I really appreciate how you guys talk about that, because you're about the advice thing and, trying to be in the moment. But yeah, man, I really appreciate your words. I got to get back to work. And
Okay,
thanks
cool.
again, man. Keep up the good work, James. I really appreciate you. Thank you.
Good to hear from you. Take care.
Yes.
All right.
You too.
Yeah, a lot of people are like either miserable at work or just have no peace, but you don't want to just up and switch up your situation. Bear through it. Sugino says, this dude talks way too fast. We have a fast brain and a slow brain. No servant can serve two masters. He will hate the one and love the other, or will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money, says Mr. Grow. Oh, interesting. Yeah, serve God. AJ was AJ the guy's name? I already forgot his name. Something J. Yeah, serve God, not the money thing. It's be content, be at peace, and if you're not at peace, just realize you're tripping. Some super chats, guys. Actually, a correction for the first young man who called my show Rich, out of Victorville, California. Asmodor states grammar, 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 is a Latin root word, and its etymology comes from the classical Greek word grammatica. It has nothing to do with grimoire. Rich is stupid, but he thinks he's smart, says Asmodor. And he also states with another super chat prior to that, there should be a giant golden statue in Minneapolis of Derek Chauvin taking a knee. Kind of an in-your-face, because they're in our face with their mess, and their mess is nothing good. Just destruction, fake nice, commies who are enemies of whites, enemies of decency, enemies of the people that they pretend, the fake victims whom they pretend to be fighting on behalf of the workers or the people or the proletariat, whatever. They are enemies of those people. They use the nicey nice words, but they are satanic, demonic, evil. Wolves in sheep's clothing. Hit me, Bibby, one more time, 42, over there on streamlabs.com/The Hake Report. Hunter, as in Hunter Avalon, 2 L's. Or Avalon, I don't know how to pronounce it. I guess I'll find out on Saturday. Hunter has been ducking Hake all year. Hunter is a snake and a phony, says Bibby. Hit me, Bibby, one more time, 42. Don't take it easy on him. He is a sissy boy, and he works for evil. By sissy boy, I don't think he means he's actually like what many times sissy boy means. I don't think. But he means that he's like girly. Okay, hit me, Bibby, one more time, 42. Thank you. Jib Jab with a Jib Jab with a super chat over there on streamlabs.com/The Hake Report. I gotta censor this. ain't nothing with Inga. Only he spelled it out. N-I-G-G-A. I use Inga, which he spelled it out, N-I-G-G-A, to refer to everything. You feel me, mine Inga? I wish I could just say it, but we are family friendly and tender-hearted black people friendly, right? Because sometimes they get all sensitive when a white says, man, it's on the tip of my tongue. I want to say it, but I'm not going to say it, I guess. Yes, thank you. Ain't nothing with N-word. I use N-word to refer to everything. You feel me, my N-word? Thank you, Jib Jab. I appreciate it. And shout out to the Twitch people and to the D-Live people. Let me just type in super. Somebody suggested I put the super chat links in the D-Live about section, which is a good idea because D-Live demonetized me some time back after they removed my ability to stream for a while right after the January 6th mess. Say it, says Ragtag Army. Your heart is tender, boy. You can't say immigrant anymore. I know, that's racially tinged to say immigrant loser, I found out, according to yesterday's news report. Yet, how is Hake still on Twitch? Yeah, I know. Crazy, huh? Crazy stuff in the world. Asmodor states with a super chat on Odyssey, odyssee.com/@thehake report/live. Avalon will be demanding citations. Give him none. The truth is citation enough. I agree, man. I agree. I'm like, you don't know that black violent crime is way out of control, and that blacks are like have an attitude problem. It's not a police problem. It's a themselves problem. And a lack of whites telling the truth, like the whites kissing up does them no favors, for sure. That is true. They are enemies of the blacks, pretending to be their friends. That's true, too. Angela Northcutt, over there on Odyssey, states with a super chat, Alpha Hake winning all the debates, and Lord Bibby 42 has hot sauce in his fanny pack. I never liked the term fanny pack, and I never really liked how they look, but I can understand how they're kind of handy. I remember when they came out in the, late 80s or early 90s or something like that. Crazy stuff. So, let me tell you about this lowering of the standards. These snakes kissing up to the POCs. Ridiculous. I'll read more of your super chats, guys, but I appreciate it. I read in Hake News a brief statement about them dumbing down the SATs. And you've heard Jesse Lee talk about this stuff and others. SAT is the standardized blah, blah, blah test. I took it. I didn't care. I rode my bike over to Arcadia High School from my house. And I was thinking about buying an X-Toll CD, riding my bike up to Lighthouse Christian Bookstore in Arcadia, and which is now it's like an Asian place. The Asians took over Arcadia. But I took the SAT and had fun. It was cool. It was fun. But granted, riding my bike up to Arcadia from like South Temple City was not a dangerous bike ride. The privilege of living in a community where the people know how to behave themselves, right? They're dumbing down the SAT tests partially, perhaps primarily, in the name of equity, which is a communist buzzword. Equity, fake idea. Same idea as equality, right? So ridiculous. SAT going digital, and the decline of standardized testing. The College Board announced Tuesday, College Board's been pushed around, right? College Board are the people who came up with the SAT test, right? The SAT will be delivered digitally in the United States in 2024. They said they're making the SAT more relevant, as some colleges are ditching the college admissions exam altogether. The test will shrink from 3 hours to 2, with more time per question, making it easier. The digital SAT will be easier to take, easier to give, and more relevant, stated this female POC Vice President of College Readiness Assessments at the College Board, Priscilla Rodriguez. Students will be required to take the exam on a school or in a test center, not at home. So they can't just cheat completely. The exam will be graded on a 1600 scale. What did I get? I think I got something like 1310. I don't know. I ended up going to a community college. I just wanted to run. Commies question standardized testing for college admissions. We question colleges, period. Colleges are becoming more and more worthless. More and more worthless. And actually counterproductive, really. The colleges have been for some time enemies of America, enemies of the students and the parents. You send them to school, they so-called conservative, they come out radical homosexual and SJW. Even in the Christian private schools. It's ridiculous. The percentage of schools that do not require standardized tests rose from about 45% before the scamdemic to nearly 80% now, according to the far-left, anti-white, anti-testing group. You ever heard of this group? Fair Test. Fairtest.org on Twitter. Fair Test Office. Experts cry about the costs, and I use experts in hard quotes, costs of standardized tests and challenges that people of color and lower income students face in college admissions process. Like they even need to be going to college. By and large, I think that most people should not. Except to exploit the college. But the colleges are exploiting them, and they're exploiting the free mess. Axios' female Asian reporter, Hope King, claims that stuff. This is a quote from Natalia Cosio, a woman, a young lady anyway, high school junior female from Fairfax County, Virginia. And she was featured on this announcement from College Board. It felt a lot less stressful and a whole lot quicker than I thought it'd be. The shorter passages helped me concentrate more on what questions wanted me to do. Plus, you don't have to remember to bring a calculator or a pencil. What a mess. In other words, don't put the kids through stress. Stress used to be kind of good for you, especially as a young person. Axios hypes the decline of standardized Western civilization. Yeah, same thing. The decline of standardized testing. Harvard dropped it in the name of equity. Harvard University. Because it favors the whites and the Asians. Same thing like I told you about affirmative action. This so-called Supreme Court's going to hear about affirmative action. If we get rid of affirmative action, our enrollment of black and Hispanic students is going to go down 50%. Good. They're better off not going to your stupid, evil college. Am I right? We need free college, says Nemo, for STEM students. If not, China's quantum computer program will rule the globe soon. I don't know, Nemo. I don't know about that. I mean, I'm not questioning that China may make a quantum computer program or whatever, but I don't know about free college for STEM students. Then there'll be, I don't know. You are supposed to make it yourself in life. Otherwise, you're divorced from reality. Angela Northcutt. Oh, no, I already read that one. Super chat from Noah's Ark, Kansas states, as a disclaimer, I am extremely morally straight. With that established, Hake, I think your optimal facial hair is somewhere between the middle of full grown out beard and the soul patch. You mean you like this? I don't know, it looks, I don't know, I can't tell. From far away, I guess it may look okay. Terry J has a request for me. Hake, can you please reach out to so-and-so and try to get onto such and such? There is no one streaming on there in your time slot, and you will get a bunch of new viewers for sure. Christ is king. Well, I appreciate that, Terry J. That's cool. A lot of people, I mean, a couple people now have suggested I do that. They want me on Cozy TV. But I don't know. I appreciate the suggestion, man. I may do that. I don't know. But thank you. Lorena H. Am I pronouncing it correctly? Nice job on the recent debates, Hake. Thanks for putting out the truth. Animus says, N-word with the hard R, N-I-G-G-E-R. And except he spelled it out as just a normal word. Is the white man's liberation spell. Interesting take, man. I do respect the big bear way of, it's offensive to say N-word. It's offensive not to say the whole real word. It's disrespectful, says Jib Jab, when you say Enga instead of N-I-G-G-A. But I will let it slide since we coo. XD. And XD is when you squint your eyes and smile big. That's what XD stands for. Meaning you're like smiling all big. Thank you, Jib Jab. I appreciate the grace. Harder R, please. I have said it on air before on the JLP show and on the, I don't know if I said it on the Hake Report. I think I had quit by then. Because I had been trained by the stinking FCC. Because we used to be on terrestrial radio. And we had one station call us, you guys keep on saying the N-word. You're not supposed to be saying the N-word, where you could get fined by the FCC. So evil, huh? So evil. Terrible. We are close to the top of the hour, guys. I have some more things to cover. These vulture women. So evil. And this notion that we should be more like Europe. We're the only rich country not to do this or that or this. We're the only country, America, right? We are the least vaccinated country. We are the only country in the Western world that is limiting rather than expanding abortion access. We are the only country with free speech. Good. We should be leading the way for what's right, not for following the crowd, right? I'm going to get to all that. But I have a song for you. And I think I actually put in some visual of the art. Did I show the art yesterday? Here's the album art from Human Television's 2006 album from Gigantic Music. The album is entitled, Look at Who You're Talking To. I think it, grammatically speaking of grammar, it should be look at to whom you're talking. I don't know, you're not supposed to end the sentence with a preposition, right? But anyway, Look at Who You're Talking To is the name of this album from Human Television, and the track is entitled, I Laughed. Hope you like this song. I do. And I'll be right back for the rest of hour 2. Hang tight, guys.
just tell me what you know. 'Cause so far I'm feeling empty, tired, wet, dreamy and cold. But I'm still happy I made it. Are you still glad I came? With your mouth all full of spiders and your tongue just dripping flames. Oh, I'll laugh. Oh, I'll laugh. Just slipping in and out, back in and down, and just on to lose control. Like two airplanes falling at the ridge, you're falling back to low. But I've seen it through a snow cone that I've seen a million times. Even at the slightest hint or mention of a word that doesn't rhyme, though I'll laugh. Though I'll laugh. I'll laugh. Though I'll laugh at
Cruel and unusual punishment, says Colin B. Are you talking about this song? Are you talking about this song? Muzak coming. Sounds like the gay shins from Arizona. 2005, I turned 20. Whoa. The music makes me want to punch babies, Hake. Why do you do this? Says Absolute Death. Not very interesting. Just a little too light in the loafers. I know. It's pleasant enough. John Doe says, this is good. Nice guitar riff, kind of Cure-ish. Yeah, you know what? I did think of The Cure with some of their songs, and maybe even specifically this song. My suicide song, Don't Do Suicide, that's idiots. And okay, it's okay to be an idiot, but it's not okay to commit suicide. Human television. My love of Hake's music is why I'm all alone, says Ryan H.U. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. But maybe it's something else. I didn't have to turn it down. And the dog didn't bark, says Jeff Casey. Well, guys, thank you very much. This music is good for waterboarding people. Well, appreciate the feedback, guys. Thank you very much. Suicide is selfish and weak, says Louis Bootsy. Yeah, it's weak. I remember Trump got in trouble for saying that some of the people who got PTSD or didn't get PTSD, they're stronger. He indicated that they're stronger. And everybody got all upset that at the notion that some soldiers who don't get PTSD or don't commit suicide are stronger than the people who do get so-called PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, or do commit suicide. Isn't that reality? Such female protect the feelings of the weak, suicidal PTSD sufferers. The point is to admit you're weak so that you can overcome it, right? Female-minded thinking. Reminds me of this story. These vultures, the far-left female-run outlet, TheSkimm, they reported about the reality of child care in America without paid family leave. I reported in Hake News how they're trying to say that babies whose mothers get $333 a month, their babies have higher brain activity and greater cognitive whatever. What? And basically the justification, they're using that as justification for subsidizing single mothers, basically, or subsidizing parenthood, when it's better to earn your way. But they make it so that it's more difficult to earn your way by encouraging women working, so that it makes everything more expensive, right? And pushing for POC victimhood and subsidizing people's lives. And they say this. It's like, let's be more like Europe. Another day goes by and the U.S. is still the only industrialized country without a federal paid family leave policy. Oh, we're not going communist like the whole rest of the world. Well, yes, we are. We're just a little bit behind them. What an evil thing. Paid family leave gives parents compensated time off to care for a new child following childbirth, adoption, or foster care payment, or a sick family member. Sick stuff, huh? And I say it's sick because they've made it harder for the man to be providing for the family. And they've undermined the man in every way that they can. These people don't care about families. They don't care about babies. They're for killing babies. They're for undermining men, taking the children away from the men. Therefore, giving the transgenders the so-called medical treatment so that they validate their feelings on the inside with the body alterations and exterior things on the outside to make them feel better because they do better in the long run for that. That's not true. They don't look at the root. We're diving into American parenthood experience. Most Americans don't have paid family leave. 89% of private industry employees don't have it. So they want to just expand that stuff, but they don't care about families. These people have overseen, this mentality has overseen the destruction of the family, which leads to more desperation. You know, when you have the two parents together, you have the married couples, the black so-called poverty rate. You know how blacks are supposedly like 3 times the poverty rate of whites? When you look at the black married couples, that percentage, it just diminishes to just within a few percentage points of so-called poverty. And is that even so bad for you? I've heard that poverty really stinks, it's terrible and stuff like that. I've heard that from some people whom I even respect. I'm thinking of like that guy Mike Cernovich who's on Twitter. And he grew up, according to him, he grew up poor. He kind of resented his dad for not making more money. He just didn't have the wherewithal, so he understood it. But he said it's rough. But what were the circumstances? Why did that happen? He's not much older than me, so this was women been working a while, and this made life harder for everybody else. Because, all of a sudden, 2 incomes. Now we can afford more. And now more people are doing this 2-income thing. So now more so-called families can afford more. So let's raise the prices. So now it's harder for the single fathers, the fathers who single income households where the father works, the mother stays home. It's harder for them to make it. What a mess, huh? You may have heard Vincent James talking about this. He's on it. JLP too. Here's a quick check-in on what other countries are offering. Britain offers 39 paid weeks. Japan allows for at least 52 weeks, a full year. Sweden, 68, over a year. Estonia hands out a whopping 82 weeks paid. Way more than 4. So evil, right? Ridiculous. You guys can call in 888-775-3773. I am wearing a woman on my t-shirt. I think it's Joan of Arc. Purportedly Joan of Arc. It's a band t-shirt or an artist t-shirt, like a musician. You guys remember I played 16 Horsepower? David Eugene Edwards? Well, his other group, or his later project, was called Woven Hand. And Christian. He's a Christian, or was. He traveled around with his grandfather, who was like a I think he was a fire and brimstone teacher or something like preacher or something like that. But yeah. See, I don't hate women. I have purportedly Joan of Arc there. With this, Joan of Arc is a historical figure with was a warrior thing. I think was she burned at the stake? Whatever. Hake, why did you give up on the sideburns? I still have these. I just grew up with my beard afterwards. Because the sideburns, I'm not sure what to do with them. Because you can shape them any old which way, whereas the beard just grows naturally. And I like just being natural and not having to shape it. It's less decisions to make. And it's less difficult to mess up. Something like that. Anyway, they're pushing this let's be more like Europe talk. Abortion in America. I saw this headline from earlier that I've been meaning to show you guys. Very much the minority trend is probably a quote from some expert. And it's from Yahoo News. They share this. The U.S. is unusual on abortion law. Around the world, it has been much more common to expand access to killing your babies in the womb, rather than to restrict it. Abortion, America versus the world. You want to be like the rest of the world, to killing the babies? No thanks. This phony idea, oh, you're so far behind the rest of the world, get with the program. These people are evil. America versus the world. Yeah, the failing New York Slimes wrote an article how U.S. abortion law compares with other nations. Many rich democracies have earlier cutoffs for abortion, but allow it later for a variety of reasons. And around the world, it has become much more common to expand access than restrict it. And it's from this section of the Failing New York Slimes, written by Claire Kane Miller and Margot Sanger-Katz. Not a Christian. And they're pushing this mess. And not just this abortion madness, but elsewhere in Europe, Finland. I saw this report from Finland. A former government minister, old school lady, purportedly, is on trial for a Bible verse, hate speech. Wasn't Finland founded as like a Christian country? Are the Finnish Christians, or were they supposed to be Christians? A lot of those, like, what is that, Northern Europe or something like that? A lot of those people have gone atheist. A Finnish MP, member of parliament, who previously served, and I don't know how to pronounce her name, Päivi Räsänen. Sorry, Finnish people. Samuel the Swede, aren't you part Finnish? I could be mistaken. Previously served as the country's interior minister. Gone on trial for a hate speech over an online post that included a Bible verse. Päivi Räsänen. And it has the A with the two dots over it. What is that called? It's not umlaut, is it? But every instance of the A in her name has those two dots over it. She's for Finland's, she was an MP, or is an MP, for Finland's Christian Democrats party. Christian Democrats. Over here in America, that would be a, what would you call that? An oxymoron, because you can't be a Christian and a Democrat in America. The Democrat is communist, atheistic, anti-God. Finland's Christian Democrats party has gone on trial. This woman has gone on trial in Helsinki for hate speech, fake idea, against LGBT plus people. The nation's former interior minister had made comments online criticizing the Finnish Lutheran Church, which is supposedly a Christian church, for associating itself with a pro-LGBT event, saying the church was, quote, elevating shame to a sin, elevating shame and sin to a point of pride. This is just normie talk, normal Christian talk. Elevating sin and shame, which is the LGBT mess, to a point of pride. This is stuff that we've been saying since the 80s. According to a report by the far-left French outlet, I think, AFP, I think they're French. And they're far-left. They're enemies of Christians. A tweet posted on social media by the ex-minister was accompanied by a picture of a Bible verse that described homosexuality as shameful and unnatural. Duh! It is shameful and it is unnatural. These are facts. Everybody knows that they are facts. And this lady is just a nicey old lady. Finnish black metal is nasty, says Absolute Death. Nasty is in cool or nasty is in good? Prosecutors now claimed Räsänen, this Päivi Räsänen, should be prosecuted over her remarks on Twitter. So stupid. And this is what we're going through in America, too, with the fake hate crime laws, where you throw a drink at a girl and you call her a effing immigrant loser. You're getting prosecuted for a crime of bias and sent to jail or arrested. Pathetic. And so for a tweet, and listen to this, these prosecutors, quote, they want to prosecute her over her remarks and the MP's criticisms being a, quote, and this is really old news, honestly. Old news in the sense that it's happening all the time, but it's so ridiculous. Being an affront to the equality and dignity of homosexuals. First of all, they have no dignity. Otherwise, they would not, or they don't have dignity in embracing, they don't have dignity in this way by touting their homosexuality as something right? And they don't have equality because there's no such thing as equality or equity, this fake idea. BBC, far-left BBC, the foreign British outlet, right? I call them foreign because their values are foreign to God's values, right? Common sense. They're anti-common sense. BBC reports that the Helsinki report will now be forced to decide whether citing a Bible verse can be considered a crime in some scenarios. Terrible, huh? I'm not throwing up gang signs. Colin B. Joking around. Illegal to be white and based. Shameful, huh? And did you know? Gay cake mess around the world. You heard about the gay cake mess and gay flowers mess. By gay flowers, I mean people are forced to arrange flowers for so-called same-sex weddings, which there's no such real thing as that. We're all forced to go along with it and pretend it's real, but we all know that it's not. Breitbart reports activists lose a gay cake discrimination case. This is kind of good news, I guess. It's a battle in the war. Involving the Christian baker, an LGBT activist has lost a case in surrounding a Christian baker, and this is a foreign one, or not in America. It's, I think, in the UK, but he tried to take it to the EU or something like that. Christian baker's refusal to make a gay marriage cake after it was thrown out of the European Court of Human Rights. We should throw out the European Court of Human Rights, even though they made the right decision in this case, I guess. Can you believe that there is a European Court of Human Rights? How scary, demonic, New World Order-ish, you know what I mean? So sick. They have thrown out a case, this is positive news, I guess, thrown out a case involving a Christian baker's refusal to produce a cake with the slogan, "Support gay marriage" on it. They're just trying to shove it in your face. Shove your face in their mess. That's what the blacks are doing to the whites, too. That's why Asmodor wants to put do it back to them with the Derek Chauvin. Because Derek Chauvin, I'm not convinced he really did anything wrong. You know, kneeling in the thing. And people will take it, oh, that's such a hateful thing. But it's not. He was just doing his job. Anyway, brought by a gay rights activist, no such thing, Gareth Lee. The case was ruled inadmissible, and this has been going on for like 7 years, by the way, by the ECHR, European Court of Human Rights, as Lee had, quote, failed to exhaust domestic remedies, meaning your own country's remedies, in respect to his complaints. The applicant in the present case did not invoke his convention rights expressly at any point in the domestic proceedings, the court reads. By relying solely on domestic law, the applicant deprived the domestic courts of the opportunity to address this important issue. It's not an important issue themselves before he lodged his application with the court. The article is kind of interesting because it talks about this Colorado man. You know, the Colorado man who he was on the Jesse Lee Peterson show back when I was producer. He was interviewed along with his lawyer, because that thing dragged on too. This Gareth Lee, radical homosexual activist, not morally straight at all. He first took the company Antrim Asher's Bakery to court regarding a cake order that emerged in 2014. So now it's 8 years later almost? 7, 8 years later? The order was initially accepted, and he was probably like his flaming gay. No, I don't know. He might have been, though. Accepted, but then the request was denied due to the messaging, support gay marriage. They shouldn't be forced to do that, right? They come up with this fake idea called, oh, you're a public service, or something like that. Meaning you're open to the public, you have to support them. You have to serve them in the way that they want you to serve them. He was supported by Northern Ireland's Equality Commission, another evil group. He came out on top after a number of initial rulings in 2015 and 2016. So the bakery, the Christian bakery, they lost, but then they appealed, and they appealed to UK's Supreme Court with support from the Christian Institute. I don't really trust the courts to do the right thing. You got to fight like street smart. You know what I mean? JLP, both Jesse Lee Peterson and Reverend C.J. Chris Connor, who was interviewed by Jesse Lee many times when I was producer and even before, even in the God's Learning Channel times, they made suggestions such as take the sinner's money and use it for good. Take the sinner's money, go ahead and do the thing, do the gay cake, and tell them I'm gonna take this money, I'm gonna do this job, and I'm gonna use this money, the profits, to support people who fight against you, because we already know that the courts are against us. But in this case, it looks like they may squeak by. The pair's appeal succeeded in 2018 with the court's then president Brenda Hale, a woman, noting the bakery's refusal was based on the family's religious beliefs regarding marriage. Family-owned bakery, right? As to Mr. Lee, that's Gareth Lee, his claim based on sexual discrimination, the bakers did not refuse to fulfill his order because of his sexual orientation. No such thing. No such thing as sexual orientation. Sexual disorientation, maybe. This woman, Brenda Hale, she's the president of the UK Supreme Court. How embarrassing. UK's Supreme Court, headed by a woman. Man, UK, I feel for you people. Shout out to the UK. I know there's some listeners here. Praying for you. Pray for us too. It was over MacArthur's belief that the only form of marriage consistent with the Bible and acceptable to God is between a man and a woman. So it wasn't based on your identity, it was based on your agenda that they rejected it. But it's interesting because that's not how they used it here in America. 7-year legal battle. I think this over in Colorado, remember that Christian baker? I'm blanking on his name. Jack Phillips, I think is his name. Yeah. His case went to the United States Supreme Court, and I think he won in 2018. But did you know? So way back 2013, 2014, and then I will get to calls, guys. Hang tight. way back in 2012, 2013, 2014, he was approached by these evil radical homosexuals who came to his thing and said, we want to have our gay wedding cake. And he's like, no, I don't do that. I'll make you something else, but I'm not going to make you a gay wedding cake. And so they sued him. They flipped out. Mean, malicious, vindictive, vengeful, angry, radical homosexuals, right? They did it. They went crazy. And the lynch mob on Twitter and elsewhere, they hate the freedom of the Christians. So they want to clamp down on the morals, right? Enforce their false version of morals. Well, he won in the Supreme Court against that same-sex marriage cake, but now he's in 2020, a couple of years ago, or a year and a half, he was being sued to the tune of $100,000 for refusing to bake a gender transition cake. See, they're just going after him. Isn't that so evil? Isn't that so evil? Whatever happened to live and let live? They wanted us to live and let live. Why can't you just live and let live? Let the transgenders be transgender. What do you care about what happens in the bedroom, is what they try to say. And then they go in and invade this Christian baker, Jack Phillips, try to make him make a gender transition cake, rubbing your face in there. Number 2, mess. Phillips was subsequently found to have broken the Colorado Anti-Discrimination Act with the refusal, handed a $500 fine by a district court in Denver. I will bet you they spent more than $500 in court. Ridiculous. Slap in the face. Court's decision is going to be appealed according to Kristen Wagoner, which is Jack Phillips' female attorney. Live and let die, says Jake. Ridiculous, huh? Anyway, that's enough outrage for now. Let me get to a call or two, guys. Eric in Selma, Alabama. How are you doing, Eric? Thank you for calling.
What's up, James? Hake, all is well, sir.
Nothing much with me. All is well with me as well. Thank you, man.
Yeah, I was calling to respond to what you, excuse me, to what you had said. You had said that it was something about knee on the neck about Derek Chauvin, but in the trial, the head of police, the black guy, he said that the knee was on the shoulder area and not the neck, so people still going around saying these lies. All this political rhetoric out here. I'm not a POC. I don't like people
I know
me into stuff like that, and all the political rhetoric. We have to be like individuals, like y'all say. You and Jesse say that, and Hake, you've been on fire, man. I've been watching your debates with you debated the transgender, and you did it out of love. You even told them that you wish them well and everything. You still don't what you believe. Real men stand on what they believe, and they do it out of love. And a lot of people, they'll take it the wrong way or whatever, but that's their problem, not ours.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's cool, man.
And,
I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. And I heard you last week. I think you was telling the crazy black radical woman, Maze. I love her, by the way. She's entertaining.
Yeah.
I love her. But you was like, by way of boats. So that's like a James Hake quote to me now. So I think that's cool that you said that, And she was talking real radical about white people was kicked out of heaven. I mean, she be just going all over the place, but she can't help herself. We have to just pray for those people.
True. Are you in the chat? I don't want to mention your name in the chat unless you want to mention your name in the chat. You can mention who you are in the chat if you are in the chat, if you want to.
Yes, sir. I'm in the chats. I'm King Drop in the chats, man.
This is King Drop.
Yes, sir.
That's cool.
It is he that talketh with thee. You hear me?
Right on, man. Well, I appreciate it.
I just want to give you a big shout out, man. You've been doing your thing, and your birthday is still going on. People still saying happy birthday. So happy birthday, Hake. Keep going, man. I'm a huge supporter of you, man, from Selma, Alabama down here.
That's cool.
I'm actually now a bigger fan of you than Jesse now because of all these recent debates. I was like, wow, this man is just truly standing on what he believes. Most men, they scared to do that, and I do it as well, and I get ridiculed for it, but I don't care. That's their problem, not ours.
Yeah.
They feel some type of way. that's their problem. Now that I had to understand, I used to get angry with people, but now, I've been doing the silent prayer, stop smoking as much pot and the slut making and stuff. So, thank y'all, man, for y'all message, man. I'm listening every day when I can. I can't really listen to y'all while I'm working now because I can't use headphones.
Well, that's good, man.
So I have to just podcast. I work in construction, so I understand its safety.
Oh yeah, yeah. You don't want to be distracted. That's a real job. That's cool, man.
Yes, sir. But have a great day. You and the crew, JLP. Everybody love y'all, man. Shout out everybody in the chats. Willie Powell, Blazing Hogs. Tyrone King. All my people. Angela Northcutt, Michelle 67. Everybody, Brandon. Shout out to Lord Grimm. I am Lord Drop now. I got my girlfriends calling me my Lord now because of him. So shout out to that for the influence.
Nice, Eric.
All right, Hake. Thank you. Man.
All right. Thank you. Take care.
All right. Take care, man.
Bye. King Drop. Just smoking a little. Don't smoke so much. Nice. That's cool. Crazy stuff. You know what? The Pope seems suspect. Did you hear about Pope Francis? This came out from Breitbart. Pope Francis says, no condemning a child with, quote unquote, different sexual orientations. Why use that worldly language? I'm not sure where this Pope is coming from because he does seem like a socialist and a liberal and a go along to get along type of guy. He says some stuff that is technically true, but he seems weak and nasty. Remember the Pope is Ticked, the JLP had covered, where some woman tried to grab onto him and he slapped her hand all mad, all irritated. This is from writer Thomas D. Williams, PhD, in Breitbart News. Pope Francis urges parents not to condemn a child with different sexual orientations. This was Wednesday that he allegedly said this. He speaks a different language, so they're translating it, I think, right? He was saying, fear is a part of life during his weekly general audience in the Vatican, which is a creepy place, I hear, seemingly. God does not promise us that we will never have fear. What? He said there is no fear in love. Perfect love drives out fear. That's in the Bible. But anyway, with his help, it will not be the criterion for our decisions. Seems like he's just making this stuff up then? I am thinking of parents, he says, I am thinking of parents in the face of their children's problems, children with many illnesses who are sick, permanent maladies, how much pain there is, parents who see different sexual orientations in their children, how to deal with this and accompany their children and not hide in an attitude of condemnation. Well, that's fine. You don't have to condemn them, but you don't go along with it and validate it. Never condemn a child, he says. Fair enough, I guess. Fair enough. But how far is he going? In his litany of difficulties, litany of difficulties that parents experience that he described, he included those who see their children leaving because of an illness, as well as children who get into mischief and end up in a car accident. There are parents who see their children not progressing in school and don't know how. So many parental problems. Let's think about it. How to help them. This guy, have you ever heard him talk? He's all talking like this. He met, by the way, with the... So according to Breitbart News a couple of years ago, well, a year and a half ago, October 2020, he offered tentative support for civil union laws for so-called same-sex couples, and that was praised by the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres. It's not Gutierrez, it's Guterres, no I. Crazy. He says, to those parents I say, don't be scared. Yes, there is pain, a lot, but think of the Lord. Think of how Joseph solved problems. Ask Joseph to help you. What? Oh, that's that Catholic stuff, asking for the different dead saints to pray, to help you. Presumably Joseph is dead, right? God tries to speak to each of us, the Pope said, but we need to be able to discern his voice in the midst of many other voices, the voices of our fears. I thought that you're supposed to say, in God there is no fear. Is he kissing up to something wrong? The voices of our past experiences, the voices of hopes, and also the voice of the evil one who wants to deceive and confuse us, which sounds like he's listening to that evil one, right? Doesn't he sound deceiving and confusing? It is therefore important to be able to recognize the voice of God in the midst of other voices. And how does he say that you should do this? He said, the Lord never allows a problem to arise without us also giving us the help we need to deal with it. He does not cast us alone into the fire. He does not cast us among the beasts. No. When the Lord shows us a problem or reveals a problem, he always gives us intuition, the help, his presence to get out of it, to resolve it. But anyway, why is he did he actually use the term sexual orientation? Again, if it's anything, it's a disorientation. Don't condemn the children. Condemn the parents. Look at yourselves and condemn the fake preachers, the intellectuals who push this acceptance stuff. He's going soft on the civil unions issue? Give me a break. Just going along to get along. I remember when he was voted in by... Anyway, the Catholics got issues, man. Exceptions to the rules, right? Right? Real Vincent James is Catholic. Nick J. Fuentes, he's Catholic. Those guys are decent. They haven't pandered and caved to the mess. It's ridiculous, though. The UN is pure evil. They should have no validation. The former socialist political leader, UN chief Antonio Guterres, is a devout worshiper from Catholic Portugal. What in the world? The principle of non-discrimination. That's not a principle. He said there's a clear demonstration of a fundamental principle, which is the principle of non-discrimination, he said in New York with the far-left AP, Associated Press. Non-discrimination is not a principle. Oh, you discriminate. You're supposed to discriminate. They're discriminating against the Christians, against the people who cite the Bible on Twitter. Ooh, so harmful. Please. Anyway, that's enough, I think. Rick in Maine wants to... Oh, he tried to get in late the other day. Rick in Maine, how are you doing?
Well, other than freezing my tail off this morning at 18 to 20 below zero,
yeah,
I'm doing all right.
Wow. 18 to 20 below zero Fahrenheit?
Fahrenheit.
That sounds cold.
That is cold, buddy. That is cold. But new meaning for BLM, which it actually stands for. It does not stand for Black Lives Matter. It stands for the Black Liberation Movement. I'm learning this kind of stuff through American Marxist.
I've heard of that book.
The name of the audio book that I'm listening to. And
Black Lives Matter is an evil phrase anyway. It's a total lie. These people who are saying that are lesbians or radical homosexuals, and that's not good for your health or your life. And they're also fat, many of them.
We don't even have to look too hard to consider the source for that.
Yeah.
And we're allegedly the crazy people in this country.
Well,
yeah, right.
Well, there are some crazy people on the right. We have to keep from getting driven crazy.
I'm not saying that. I'm like Jesse says, not all, but most.
Yeah, I mean that's what they try to drive us crazy. Remember when you flipped? I remember you flipped out I don't want to bring it up too much, but you flipped out recently over somebody going pure evil on my show, right? You called in and you were, it drove you crazy. That's something that you got to,
I wasn't going
we
crazy.
got to watch.
I was just upset that you didn't hang up on that fool.
I know, but that's being upset is another word for mad, and mad is another word for crazy. If you will not begrudge me going rich from Victorville on you.
Yeah.
Because it's not sane to be that mad.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But no, I just belong to the old school group that you show respect to someone that will allot you time.
Yeah.
To do something like that. You don't abuse the opportunity or the privilege.
But still, you make
like
no
that.
excuses for where you go wrong, because they're wrong, but you're wrong for getting upset by it.
For doing it, yeah. Anyway.
But you're right. The guy was evil, but don't be overcome by evil. Overcome evil with good.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah.
That book Chauvin, I'm at the 4th chapter, and it's panning out to be pretty good. Of course, Mark Levin, he's the author.
Say
he's
again?
A constitutional lawyer. Mark Levin.
I know him, but what did you say about him?
Yeah. He's a constitutional lawyer.
Oh, yeah. He's all into that stuff.
Yeah. Man studies law. And
he can be kind of hit and miss, to be honest. I like him, but I don't know. He gets a little passionate, if you will, and then he kind of went anti-Trump for a while.
He does.
He went anti-Trump because people were suspicious of him and his support for Trump or lack of support for Trump, because he's been kind of, he's not a Christian, right? I think he's Jewish, and he's an intellectual, and a lot of intellectuals and non-Christians are kind of blind to the brightness of Trump. Yeah. So it even took a while for Dennis Prager to get on board with Trump. I remember Dennis Prager, and I love Dennis Prager, and he's
a pretty good fellow.
He's a kind of a conservative, not Christian, but a Jewish host, interesting guy. But he was like anybody but Trump. I was like, what? This was before Trump was elected the first time.
Yeah.
So there's some blindness over there. So anyway.
Oh yeah, everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. That's not a thing that's not obvious in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
I'm out here fueling the truck, so it might be a little noisy.
Well, I appreciate it, Rick. It's nice to hear from you.
Okay, Bob. Take care. Have yourself a great day.
You as well.
And I'll catch you again.
All right. Redox Bear says Trump is evil for pushing vaccines. I don't know if that's evil, pushing the vaccine. He's not like he's forcing it. People say that the vaccines are evil themselves. I don't know. Maybe so. I mean, it was made in rapid time, unprecedented rapid time, and the long-term results, we really don't know. Maybe some people do know. Some people have been watching more closely than me. Some say that it's hurting their immune system in the long run. It's helping them defend against Delta, but not much else, leaving them weakened to other stuff. So it is something to think about. I don't see how you can say that Trump is evil for touting it. I don't know. But I do see a lot of people thinking that. Malkuth X says, Hake, you look like you are seething with anger with your wild eyes. Interesting. I have those AOC eyes. Is that what you're saying? Ooh, I better watch myself. Thank you, Malkuth. The UN is pure evil. I agree with that, says John Doe. Yeah, totally. Play us another ditty, Hake. Did you actually like that? Did you actually like the human? Now I'm like thinking about my eyes. Malkuth X got me thinking about my eyes. Did you like the Human Television's music? All right. No, but I'm not going to play anymore. Grew up Catholic, left it when I was in my teens, says Luca. Yeah, those Catholics, man, a lot of them are kind of off. A lot of them are nice people. Mr. Sandman, I dare Hake to go to Grape Street and say the N-word with the ER. What's Grape Street? I presume that's a black area, a black violent area, a black on white crime area. Is that what you're encouraging? You would be making my point for me, Mr. Sandman. The blacks overreact to whites saying the N-word. They don't believe in freedom of speech for whites. They are evil, violent people. If that's what your point was, Mr. Sandman. In other words, you agree with me. Shameful stuff. Not good. Let me get to Justin in Fullerton, California. He wants to talk about the Trump and the vaccines thing. Justin, what's up?
Hey, what's up, Hake? Hope you're doing well.
Thank you.
I was curious, I guess, to ask you this kind of a question. Do you think that the previous president we had, Donald Trump, who invented warp speed and all that, was that something beneficial looking back at what he promoted and, promoting a COVID-19 vaccine, and he made it in 6 months? A year later.
I don't know. I don't think that it was, because even the things that let's say it was positive and helped some people or many people, it's also been used for evil. And so net, I think that it turned out for the evil, because he didn't stay in charge, And anyways, even he's not in control of all the individual states and localities and businesses that want to force this on the people. So net, I would say it was an evil. But I don't know. It may have helped a lot of people. I just don't know. You know what I mean? Has the vaccine helped a lot of people? I think maybe.
A lot of people thought so. Like he said, I took the booster, and a lot of other politicians.
I don't know about the booster. Oh yeah, he's took the booster, huh?
Yeah, he tried to say that because even Governor DeSantis apparently wants to keep his rights of his personal choices private.
Right.
And yet the promoter, right? I don't want to say anything derogatory towards him because I kind of voted for him. I kind of liked him. But now I'm just wondering if that's who we need back, because he's kind of that mRNA type of a promoter, and he's a very good speaker. And I think that if he has well connections with Pfizer or whoever, to make it happen quick, that sounded good. But the lives have been dead, like the death rates or the lives that were supposed to be saved, kind of are on par with last year and even more so this year. So I don't know if it's related to a president that can protect us, but definitely Pfizer has made more money than anything. I have kids.
Yeah. Senator
in California, Senator Dr. Pan is trying to get rid of loopholes so that you can't get out of getting forced vaccinations. And I'm totally against that for obvious reasons.
That's an Asian he mentioned Pan, right?
He's
a state senator.
Dr. Pan. I know it's supposed to, Asian.
Yeah, he's an Asian guy who's been pushing even before the China virus came in. He was pushing forced vaccinations on kids for other things.
I think in 2015, you're correct. Yeah, he was doing that as well. From last I read, he was trying to get rid of loopholes. And then
so you're questioning whether we should have Trump back because he promoted that thing?
Yeah, because he was able to promote it. Should we have him back because the vaccine was the highlight to the end of his career, and then all we are left with is more death and less choices and a lot of coercion. So I don't know if Pfizer, he can, have them give money back to the people because they profited a lot, and they still haven't fulfilled the obligation, which was to, not herd immunity, but just whoever took it, to not let them get into a hospital and die. Well, that's not happening. They're going to hospitals and they are dying. So
did you remember the story where Pfizer backstabbed Trump because they had the vaccine ready before the election took place, and they withheld that information, in order not to help him because they didn't want to help him. They knew it would be politically beneficial to help him. So they didn't want to influence the politics of it. So because of politics, they withheld the information that could have helped Trump win. Interesting, huh? Pfizer's no friend of Trump. You think Trump has an in with Pfizer, and that's how he was able to make the vaccine or something like that?
I was looking at Johnson & Johnson and Moderna. Some people in the what is it, biosphere, as they used to call it, they used to say the biosphere. He's like Grandpa Moderna. He's like a Trumpy Dumpy, the mRNA junkie. There's lots of phrases, but he's kind of out there in the Ethernet.
But you're not saying anything.
No.
Then what are you saying that for?
Because that's what is out there in the biosphere. They're calling him these names because of his connections with biochemistry.
But you just admitted that you know nothing about it, and you're just repeating these underhanded accusations against him.
The climate is there's accusations out there that I've read that people are not.
But you shouldn't repeat that.
Yep, I repeated it because that's stuck in my head. But as far as
but shame on you, not shame on him.
No, because if somebody's slandering, it's different. This is not slandering. These are the new catchphrases for Donald Trump.
That's gossip.
He was known as "you're fired" kind of guy on The Apprentice. Then he became the guy who fired people out of politics. I'll repeat. He was on The Apprentice, and he was known for saying, as a reality TV show guy, he was saying, a very, very successful business guy, that you're fired. That's what people knew him as. Then later, right, he runs for president, and he does an amazing job towards the end. We even think he invented, I don't know if he's like the Willy Wonka of vaccines here, but there's something going around where I believe it, just as much as others have said it, that he is more of a promoter of a vaccine that has failed us. 6 months was an idea, but it in reality, now we're looking at it. And I don't think he could have changed anything, and I don't think Biden could have changed anything, but the Constitution is definitely something. Thank God he put the right people in place doing 4D chess, and he could get other things accomplished while he's gone. So, yeah, he did the best thing by having the Supreme Court be in place to make these great decisions for us in the future.
I don't know.
Don't force us.
I mean, he didn't have much goods to select from. I'm not a fan of the judges that he's put in.
Yeah,
anyway, man.
There could be better ones. Yeah, but he did what he did, and that's why we have what we have. And he's out.
But anybody would have made any president in office would have made a vaccine and promoted it. So I don't see why you're holding this thing against him.
No. He was seating in the power at the time, and he's connected with the businesses to have made it in 6 months.
But you're making these claims, and you have no idea what the connections are, what the nature of the connections are, or if he even does have connections.
Right. The only reality is, unless in 6 months he brags that it's going to be the best thing ever, and after which it's forcing politicians to say, and he calls them gutless. He called Governor DeSantis a future presidential candidate who could have been partnered with him as his VP or whatever, and it seems like that's not going to happen because Florida is the new America. Freedom wins there, and the rest, like I'm in Fullerton, California, it's not. I mean, I look at Orange County, California, conservative place, but it is not the mainstream where I live. It's an exception to the rule in California.
Trump supported using therapeutics and existing medicines as well.
Then let's use his therapeutics and like Joe Rogan and like Tim Pool and other famous people that have taken it. Those therapeutics are awesome, but we're not hearing about. I'm not seeing, other than Florida, that you can go in for those additional therapeutics and get it at the CVS. Here, we have things, we play games of testing. And if we don't have testing from a PCR or an antigen, which is the right one, and then blah, 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 I go on and on. But I think that whether it's your choice to take something or not to take some kind of medication, it is important to value the individual because it's our lives. And it's not an individual administration that can usher in any kind of cure, obviously. So our Constitution should be upheld by the best judges we've got because they're there for life. That's what we got. And hopefully they'll uphold what our framers put in place to protect the rights of the people and to pursue happiness and to pursue joy in their
I don't understand what your point is. You're all over the place.
Okay, there's the question was, do you think, looking back after the vaccine, that now that Trump invented here, I guess.
Trump did not invent the vaccine. Why are you talking that way?
Yeah, not with his own hands.
Well,
But
why
again,
are you not in any way? He just pushed for
businessman.
he pushed them to make the vaccine. That's all it was. And then he promoted it as a success. And whether it was a success or not. What? Did you say he took the money? Wait, did you say that he took the money?
What was that?
Did you say that he took the money?
No.
He touted it as a success. Whether it's a success or not, I don't know. But he
Did you know that they make $94,000 a minute just at Pfizer? I don't know about Moderna or Johnson & Johnson, but just them. Can't they give some back? Can't they bury the people that they've failed to have saved? Can't they put that money to protect the rights of the modern person today, living in 2022? This isn't a constitution. It's not supposed to be dead. It's a living like the Bible.
He took the money, a failed vaccine. Is that what you said?
What was that?
You said he took the money, a failed vaccine.
No, I didn't say he took the money.
Okay, whatever.
Failed vaccine.
Anyway, I got to run, man. I totally agree with you that the pharmaceutical companies, they are enemies of America, and so are most companies, period. And so are most people in the government. I don't see Trump as an enemy of America. I see him as a friend of America.
Very good business guy, but yeah, he didn't fulfill those high, lofty dreams that he put out, unfortunately.
Whatever. I don't see how you can expect that. You had unreasonable expectations.
Rate hasn't dropped. The
you had unreasonable expectations, Justin. I got to go.
He's a good salesman.
I got to go. Bye. He hung up. What a mess. Asmodor with some super chats for you guys in the last few minutes here. Some people are saying, like Chris over there in the chat, not to be confused with this Chris, I don't think. Says James is in the cult. I guess the pro-Trump cult. I don't know. The anti-Trump seems just as much a cult. I'm just leaving it as an I don't know. But over there on Odyssey, Asmodor states DeSantis promotes the VAXX just as much as Trump, and all the neocons want DeSantis. Yeah, and then there's these other weird guys who are not supposedly not neocons, but they're kind of against the pro-whites. They're the mainstream ones, like Cernovich, whom I like, but they're like saying an anomaly, whom I like, but they're saying Trump is just a vaccine salesman and he's not in touch with his base and he's promoting people who are anti-Trump, never Trump Bush people. And I think so. A lot of that is true. But anyway, Pfizer just came out and said they're doing trials on Omicron specific vaccine because their previous vaccine has no effect on it, says Taking Care of Business. Yeah, that's true. Isn't that ridiculous? And this thing is not even that serious. It's like getting it's, in my opinion, kind of like getting a flu shot when the flu is nothing to sneeze at, but you're going to take the risk of getting a flu shot? They want to just go more and more and more unnatural, unhealthy, not just healthful habits. You know, it seems like you should just have the healthful habits in the first place. There was this person who Trump supported, or he touted, Morgan Ortagus, who is a POC woman with a baby, a little baby, exploring a run for Congress in Tennessee's 5th Congressional District. Will have my complete and total endorsement if she decides to run. But all the people on Twitter, you know, the sort of pro-Trump people on Twitter, are not for her. They're for this Robbie Starbuck guy, who is a reasonable guy on Twitter. And I don't know where to stand, you know? Maybe he is off on some things. Anyway, I cannot get to all of your calls, guys. Rick in Hampton, Virginia wanted to talk about Biden in 2022, you know, the midterms in 2024. I cannot get to you guys. Catch me 4 p.m. Pacific today, or else catch the Bond Archive Sunday Service Throwback 4 p.m. Pacific premiere today. RebuildingTheMan.com/church, TheHakeReport.com/appearances for my T-Jump debate coming up today. Thanks, guys. Take care.